Okay, part 2 is now in session, so yeah. What do I think about this episode? Just as I expected. It was terrible. Especially with seasons 5 through 9. I just think this episode was just absolutely terrible. So I'll go into the reasons why. Squidward was just minding his own business, but SpongeBob all of a sudden appears and Squidward all of a sudden gets interrupted and SpongeBob sings a song about how he has an attitude of gratitude. Squidward, however, doesn't, and he is the exact opposite of SpongeBob. He's like ungrateful about anything and he's absolutely miserable. SpongeBob tries to help, in which SpongeBob I don't think SpongeBob does a good job. I think he's gonna done fuck up everything like he did. He done fucked up his foot in House Fancy, especially when he clipped off his own toenail. He done fucked up his own television show, and then Squidward gets kicked out. Um, he gets stung by so many jellyfishes, and SpongeBob was very inconsiderate of what's going on. He's like, "Shut the fuck up, Squidward. I'm trying to concentrate, okay? So let me be." And then Squidward gets continue to get buzzed by dozens of millions of jellyfishes, this is really painful. This is really painful. Squidward's house gets set on fire. Yeah, that's the point. Yeah, there was one episode and this guy was like, "Oh, some bastard left some casserole in the oven." And yes, Squidward blames and yells at SpongeBob both at the same time because of this. And all those horrible shit that happened to Squidward. Yeah. And to be honest, I think in this episode, they made Squidward very, 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 very bitchy. Like, he bitches at everyone non-stop. Like, he bitched at so many people while he was working, and he even bitched at SpongeBob saying to stop singing it. And he bitches that he's the most miserable person ever. And all of a sudden, things got worse, and the volcano got interrupted. Mr. Krabs doesn't even give a shit until the cash register gets burnt, and Mr. Krabs freaks out. Wow, they really made Mr. Krabs an unlikable and selfish character that bad. Wow, they really done fucked up Mr. Krabs so bad. He doesn't care about anyone else at all. Like, he's that inconsiderate and cold-hearted. He doesn't care about anyone or anything but money. It's all about the fucking money Mr. Krabs cares for. And he fucking flips out about that by crying out. That's so immature. Oh my god. And the mayor thinks that Bikini Bottom is doomed. And then the mysterious dolphin warrior comes and he said they must sacrifice the most miserable person. Squidward goes towards the door, and SpongeBob says SpongeBob needs to find the most miserable person. Yeah. They soon realize that Squidward's very miserable. Like, okay. and they attempt to sacrifice him. Okay, that's okay. But at the very end, instead of sacrificing the most miserable person, guess what? And this is where it gets absolutely very stupid. They actually wanted to sacrifice the most miserable person's house rather than a person itself. Are you fucking serious? Like, what sense does that make? Sacrificing someone's house? You're joking with me, are you? I understand this is a cartoon, but what the hell were the directors and writers thinking? That doesn't make any sense at all. They wanted at you mean to tell me at first they wanted to sacrifice a very miserable person, but then all of a sudden they wanted to sacrifice a house instead. That made Squidward even more bitchier than ever. And miserable as well. I can't believe how they made how they done fucked up the characters from that show like that. They even done fucked up Squidward by making him too bitchy. And yes, he was an unlike. Yes, granted, and yes, it's true that he was very unlikable in Little Yellow Book, but in this one, he's just a bitch and an asshole. While in Little Yellow Book, he's nothing but an asshole himself. This one, he's a bitch and an asshole. And the attitude of and SpongeBob tries to make things right, but instead the directors want to don't fuck everything up by changing the script and making making it worse for Squidward, the situation, and making the plot very confusing. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, but my god, you really have to come up with this shit? I mean, really? In this episode, it also showed that Squidward had had no consideration and no warm hearted, no warm heart, no cons. Let me try this again. Squidward had no consideration and no warm heartedness to anybody at all. He acted too bitchy to everyone, and everyone everyone seems to hate him because of that. Because he thinks that he's the meanest person ever and also the most miserable person, and he has nothing to be thankful or grateful for. All because of the job that he hates and the neighbors he cannot stand and hate as well. Why did the directors had to don't fuck up Squidward like that, making him too bitchy? Instead, they could have done Squidward finding its own peace, or Squidward being at least happy for a change. Instead, they come up with this shit. I really wish that I really wish that they should fix it so that fix the end. I really wish they should have fixed the ending, but they wanted to make the ending very terrible, and I hated the ending as well. Everything I could say about it is terrible. It's really terrible in my opinion. Sponge-Cano, it's terrible, absolutely terrible. Yes, it's a terrible episode in my opinion. Back when SpongeBob had gone downhill as well, completely with season 7 and this one like that. So yeah, in my opinion, it's terrible. The way they messed up Squidward's personality, the way they changed, the way how it ended, it's really terrible. Everything I could say, terrible. I don't know what they were thinking, but they really did a shitty job with this episode. They really did. They done fucked up so bad with that episode. So yeah, for my final rating for Sponge-Cano, I'm gonna give this episode a 1 out of 7. Horrendous episode. And there you go. That was my review/rant on Sponge-Cano Part 2. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications, and also don't forget to send me a request. This is me signing off. I'll see you guys later. Have a great day, stay safe, and peace out, y'all.